It's early spring and things are starting to wake up in the garden. I thought I'd bring you along to take a peek. My name is Teresa. Welcome to Homemaker Living. We'll start with our fruit trees. We're in the East Orchard and it is our pears and our apple trees. This year is turning out much different than the previous 2 years. We haven't had any freezes to affect the blossoms, and this red Bartlett has put on a ton of blossoms this year, so we're hoping to get some fruit from that. And this is our Bosc, B-O-S-C pear tree, and it's never had any blossoms, and this year we have quite a few blossoms. And this is a Honey Crisp apple tree, and it has a number of blossoms on it this year. I heard Honey Crisps are really finicky to get apples from, so that'll be interesting to see if we get any from that. And our Gala apple tree, we have a number of blossoms opening up on this one. This is a Granny Smith apple tree, and it has a number of blossoms this year as well, and we've had none in the past 2 seasons, so that's really promising. Now I've moved over to our West Orchard, and this is our Stella cherry tree, and it has a number of leaves already, but it's actually starting to get some blossoms popping out here. So we're hopeful that it's going to get quite a few more. I think we've only counted about 5 or 6 so far. Here we have our Asian pear tree, and we had 1 Asian pear last year, which was really good. And this year we're just so excited. Look at all these blossoms. Now, no, I know this age of this tree cannot support all of this fruit, so we'll selectively prune it, the fruit off of it as it starts to mature. But we're really excited about that. And then this is our Veteran Peach, and it has just so many blossoms on it as well. And so we'll also, as long as we get some fruit developing, selectively eliminate those. And then this is our nectarine tree that blossomed out really well. The blossoms are fading now because, you know, they're aging, but hopefully we'll be getting some fruit from it this year as well. Okay, what else is new in the garden is we had a little Rainier cherry tree here that we took out because it died from aphid damage last year. But we had this bed that a neighbor gave us last year, and we weren't sure if we were going to do anything with it, but since this tree had to come out, I asked my husband to create a bed for me, and I wanted to dedicate it to herbs. So right now I have some sad-looking overwintered thyme that I have in here, and an oregano, which is pretty hardy, so it'll come back. And I plan to put a rosemary right here, and then some other herbs that I have growing from some seedlings. And the strawberry plants are looking pretty good so far. Some of them have really flourished and are starting with some blossoms. I've had about 20% loss between these 2 beds, but I have plenty of daughters that I overwintered from last year that I'll just pop into the spots of the berry plants that didn't make it. The shortcake raspberry bed is looking really good. Everything is greening up nicely. I still have to come in and prune out some of the canes that didn't develop any greens and maybe thin it out a little bit. And then next to it, its neighbor, is the asparagus bed, and this is year 3. And while we've had a little bit of loss from freezing, as you can see, some of these have shriveled on the tops from some freezing. We put frost cloth on it, and then when that didn't do the trick, then we covered each of the plants with some buckets and the frost cloth, and that seemed to help. And we've harvested once and had that for a meal. And so you don't want to harvest too much of it because you want it to put that energy into the crowns to keep getting stronger every year. But this is our first year for a harvest, and it was so good. So as you can see, we have some that are almost going to start opening. So I might go ahead and harvest a bit more out of here and then just let the rest of it fern out, and do its thing over the summer to really strengthen those crowns. I planted garlic last October, and it came up probably about a month ago, and it is doing really well. Out of I think 78 bulbs that I put in, only one did not come up. And this is the variety Enchilium. The first year I grew 5 varieties, and we like this one the best, and it's a soft neck and has good storage life, so I just went with that one this year. Our mason bees have hatched. We have this little house up here that we put reeds in, and each year we harvest the cocoons, wash them, dry them, store them in the refrigerator with some humidity all winter, put them out April, May, and then they hatch. They're a solitary bee, and they will pollinate my fruit trees. They don't travel very far, so they stick around here, come in and fill those reeds with their eggs, and they'll develop into mason bees for next year. And our other raspberry bed is just starting to come up. These are kokanee, and they will produce berries on the primocanes and the fluorocanes, so for 2 years. But I choose to only harvest from the first year canes, so end of summer, early fall, and then I'll cut them down when they die back. And then this last one is tulamine, and it's a different variety. It is your traditional primocane, fluorocane, so I only get berries on the second year canes, which are the ones that we already see here that are starting to push green throughout. And I went ahead and thinned them out a little bit because they were pretty unruly last year, and I topped them off. So hopefully they will not put too much weight on the trellis, as well as produce berries a little bit better. In the far back corner of the garden, I have a rhubarb that's really flourishing this year. It was moved a couple of times, and it's doing really nice in this spot. And then we have blueberry row, which is this one I just recently transplanted. It's a Duke that is getting some new growth on the bottom. So I'm hopeful that this one will fill out and look like the rest of mine, which are fairly new plants. This is a legacy I just planted, and it's got a lot of flowers on it. And this one's a patriot, looking really good, green, leafing out, and some buds on it. As well as this one is a blue jay. I think it's called a blue jay. And this is a Duke. It's very interesting that the Dukes all have brown canes on them. The rest of them are all green. And then this is my mystery blueberry that is looking really good, green, and a lot of blossoms going to open on this. This bed doesn't look like much. It is my carrot bed. So I have a method of sowing my carrot seeds, covering them with burlap, keeping them nice and moist, so I have really good germination. I did a video on that last year, so if you want to see that method, check that out. But I've got those in about 5 days ago, and so we should be seeing some green hopefully in the next 3 to 5 days. We've been having some really warm weather, so hopefully those will pop up here soon. I start my green seedlings in the house early in the season so I can get them out in this cold frame to hopefully get some greens before it gets too warm. So in here I have butter crunch lettuce, green leaf lettuce, spinach, and a couple things of cilantro. In the bed next to my cold frame, I have a perennial growing. So this is sorrel, and it has a lemony flavor to it. We add that to our salad, and it's really good. And I was really pleased to see that it made it through the winter. Our winter wasn't too harsh this year, but it's supposed to be really hardy, and it has just come back and looking happy. I also started another bed of greens. I direct sowed spinach and butter crunch and leaf lettuce, as well as 3 different types of beets. I have a Detroit, golden, and a Merlin, and then some radishes. And I'll do some succession planting in there just so they're not all ready at the same time. Doesn't look like much right now, but soon it'll look beautiful like it did last year. And then lastly, the blackberries. So they still have not lost all of their leaves from last year, but starting down here at the bottom, we have green that's pushing on the canes. So that is really good to see. And then the new canes for next year's fruit, so the prima canes are starting to come up down here at the bottom too. Gets to be a little bit tricky when I put them on this trellis with the canes this year that are going to give me fruit, have to obviously stay on it all summer. But at the same time, the new canes come up and I've got to find space for them. So, not sure if this is the best method of growing these, but it's been working. It's just a little bit more work than if I guess they were just wild growing everywhere. So these are all Olali blackberries. I've done a couple of videos about the blackberries. This one's kind of cool. This is the Aparo that I wasn't a huge fan of the berries. They were fine, but it looks more of that espalier, if that's how you say it. I took the leaves off of this one and we can see that they're all the branches are starting to leaf out. And we'll see if this one does even better than last year. If not, it's coming out.